Hey guys, welcome to the Convo Couch. Today we've got Skeeve Stevens, Futurist, and thank you for coming on the show today.
You're welcome. It's going to be very interesting. People go, oh, I'm about to get a self-driving car, maybe Tesla or something.
Yeah.
That's coming. I'm like, we've been able to drive cars by thought for 8 years. And they're like, what? There's several areas in technology like brain-computer interfaces. And you can just go on YouTube and type thought driving, something like that. 8 years ago, there was an Australian company, or partly Australian company, they were in Berlin on the airport driving a car by thought. And so brain-computer interfaces, now it's not extensive, it's not like, you can't sit there and like dictate a whole story and control computers independently. It's limited. So there's even gamers at the moment, like playing games with no hands, and they're like, and all those things that you can do it from an expressive side, you can configure into a control. So they'll be walking along by this and then they'll shoot like this, and we've been having that for years. In our superhumanology business, we play with something called TDCS, transcranial direct current stimulation. And it sounds technical, but it's just called, like, the product is like the Halo Sport. We've got these headsets that you can put them on for about 25 minutes, and then you can take it off, and then for the next hour, your brain is in the state of hyperplasticity. So it will learn everything up to 10 times faster. So we work with Olympic athletes and musicians and a whole bunch of people who they want to learn something really quick. So a violinist or a pianist, if they were a concert pianist, most of them, it will take them about a week to learn a new piece. With the Halo Sport, for example, you will do that in 2.5 hours. Those are big in gaming as well. So professional esports gamers are now using them big time. Even the World Doping Organization understands it. And they're like, it's not a drug, it's not anything. It's basically putting your brain into a state where it learns much faster. Professional athletes or professional whatever, like a tennis player or a race car driver, they don't think when they're driving. The back of your brain runs at a much higher speed, your subconscious. It runs at about, I think it's about 160 milliseconds, as opposed to like a 280 or so milliseconds of the front of your brain. So a millisecond is a thousandth of a second. So a race car driver is going along at 300 kilometers an hour on the Grand Prix, and he's like, and like he might make a great move, and at the end they'll go, oh, that was a great move, why did you decide to do that? And he's like, and he'll make up something because he has no idea. He didn't choose to do that. The whole point of athletes repetitively doing things is to train the muscle memory. So a tennis player is like someone they serve at massive speed, and they're just like, and they're like, okay. Concert pianists don't think about the music. They've played it hundreds of times that the body is they're just playing. You can't think about how fast you're playing those notes. The whole area in that sort of area of neuroscience and TDCS is about just making it even faster. We've actually got a place in the city called the Future Factory. Mm-hmm. We've actually got a commercial grade gym where my wife is in charge of the neuroscience side of things. And so she's the one, you see her in the photos with the headsets and, different athletes. And so we'll have an athlete come in, or a musician or whoever, and often athletes have their high performance trainers. So Shanti teaches them how to use the equipment, like an outfit you can wear now that lets you see what's going on inside your body. Mm-hmm. So your personal trainer can be sitting there with an iPad, and he'll know exactly what muscles are activated and not. How are you going? You'll be like, oh yeah, I can keep going. And he's looking at it, he's like, no, you can't. Okay. Or he's like, I'm feeling tired. And you're like looking at it, don't be a pussy. Because he can see exactly what muscles, if you're jumping, we know, even down to things like meditation now. There's headsets, they're called the Muse, which is really good. And it's the first electronic device that yoga and yogis and that have ever gone, okay, we have proof of this. Because I don't know if you've ever done yoga, but often it'll be like, clear your mind. No one ever knows that your mind's cleared until now. Now you've got these headsets that you put on and you can on your phone, and it knows if there's any EEG activity. It knows if you're thinking about things.
Yeah.
It knows if your mind's clear.
Isn't it crazy that your phone knows things that you've never said out loud to anybody else?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not something, it knows whether there's activity.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
It just knows whether, like, if I'm sitting here and if I'm calm and clear my mind, and that's what the whole point of yoga is, centering yourself. But if I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I've got to do the washing, I've got to go to a car, I've got to send this person an email, it's like blah, blah, blah. And it's going, and in there is going, And the device is going, shut up. We know you're still thinking.
Yeah.
And so they give you these little gamification things where you'll be in a forest and the quieter your brain is, the more there'll be tweets, like birds tweeting. And
Okay.
it's kind of like even yoga is becoming technical. The brain is very, very, very powerful. Mm-hmm. We're going to an era where we're just starting to understand that. The sort of the product starting to come out is very, very interesting. I mean, controlling computers by thought, being able to measure your thoughts. There are little masks you can wear when you sleep, will help you with lucid dreaming. If you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom, it knows. And it knows you're starting to wake up. And it can even have the light slowly come up. And then you can program those to even write code to help you tune your sleep. It can use temperature, vibrations, music, soft lights, and all those kinds of things, the sort of things they can use in hypnotherapy. And you can code your own, so you almost like code your own hypnotherapy. It really helps you sleep. And you can go by programs and go, I want something that can help me take me to a deeper sleep. So you can even tune things. So I want to sleep really deeply for 2 hours because that's all I can afford, and bring me out in sleep cycle 7. And you're like, I don't try those ones. Like they're like, that's my wife said. So. I just don't like the idea of being able to open source and code your brain.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll hack your brain. You think open source and tuning your brain's good? Go, give me the source code.
Do you have discussions with your wife about this? She's like totally for it, and
well, she's hardcore. She's hardcore. Okay. I've weaponized her over the years, and over the last 10 years. Like, she was a bookkeeper when I met her, and now she does everything. She can do construction. You want a wall in the middle of it? She'll build a wall. Wow. She can drive. She rides motorcycles. She can. What else should be? She does circuitry and soldering. She's a whiskey expert. She's like, I keep throwing bodies of knowledge at her, and she goes, all right, and just learns it. You don't really need a uni degree anymore. If it was like a technical degree, IT, cybersecurity, things like, you don't need uni. It's starting to head into other areas. Well, I used to say, well, I want my doctor to have a degree, and and my psychologist, I don't know if psychologist, but you want those sort of people to have degrees. But there are even some areas where some of those you don't really need. We're in an era of where you can learn anything. All these kids are learning coding. People are going to go, oh, so they're all going to be programmers. And I'm like, no. This girl will still be a nurse, but she'll be in the room. Some doctors will be arguing about something on the MRI machine, and she'll be sitting there and she'll just go, I can fix it if you like, and just flip down the panel on the MRI machine and write 40 lines of code. She'll just be a different nurse. You could be a law clerk sitting there writing codes and algorithms just to search through evidence. That's the future. So anyone that's older that doesn't retrain, which is really hard for them, like, they're going to be losing their jobs to their kids, and not to robots. This 22-year-old lawyer guy can code in 3 languages in Ethereum, and he can construct things and do his job 10 times faster. There's a doctor who's just graduated, he's like 25 or something, and he does specialized surgery in robotics because he can look at something and go, okay, I can't do this with my hands. So just for a second, I'm going to write 40 lines or 100 lines of code of where I exactly want the robot to go to. And the current doctors, they're just going to go.
So coding and technological skills would be as common as typing now.
Garbage bin. We've got NFC chips in our garbage bins. And garbage guys are in the truck with an iPad, and they know where to pick up, and they're recording the weight of every person's garbage that they pick up. They're actually going, okay, what is the best route to take? Farmers are starting to play with IoT, and there are combine harvesters that are self-driving. Every field is being extreme teched. So we did a presentation to the Law Society recently going, because it was all about, law tech, and there was like 10 presenters. 9 of them talked about law firms using advanced technology and tools and AI and machine learning. And I'm like, and we did the opposite. You talking about all this tech in law, but what about the law of tech? If you programmed a voice assistant like an Alexa to kill someone or do something, they have no idea. So the law of technology is different to using technology in law. I did a talk to a government all about the future of identity and what does it mean. Lawyers, barristers, the whole legal system doesn't understand technology itself. Potential crimes like digital rape And we've got transnational laws where there are ways. I don't know if we want to go into details about some of these things. I've technically killed people.
Okay.
I've technically killed people in simulations.
Right.
So, for example, I can hack a pacemaker.
Okay.
I can hack cochlear implants. One of the scenarios that wasn't great was great to know that we could do it to figure out how to stop it was like an insulin pump.
Right. Okay.
Like if you could hack that remotely and just change the numbers, and the person's like, "Oh, hang on just a second, pump, pump, pump," but they're not over, and now they're dead. The Chinese just found someone, they're using their augmented reality glasses as cops, and they can look in a crowd and they can see people, and they found a really bad guy. But what if I put your details into that? And they think you're a little terrorist. And it's like, it's got shoot on sight type of thing. And they're like, hang on, there she is. But it's not you. We've got the technology that everyone's starting to use, augmented reality, to identify things, but then we've got the ways to manipulate it and hack it and everything else like that. So we've got board directors that are quitting like crazy at the moment because the government brings in legislation saying you need to be responsible and understand cybersecurity and privacy and everything for your organization, and they're just like, I'm 60, I'm sorry, resign.
So you're saying one of the concerns is that legislation isn't keeping up with technology, isn't it?
No, we've met with the Law Society and Supreme Court, and we brought up and we actually did a tour of the whole country, meeting with the intelligence units of all the police departments in the country, and we brought up a whole bunch of scenarios of how these things can be abused. And we were like, okay, so here's a scenario. The police are just like, and they don't know what to do. Given that people are plugging everything into anything, like, you know, I just do a little hack on your electric blanket or something like that, and just elsewhere, Alexa, blah blah blah. And there's always these things. The word intelligence irritates me because I'm old school a little bit, but there's nothing intelligent about anything. Because intelligence implies decision making, but there's no decision making. There's an if this then that, which we code. So imagine now you can just say, Alexa, preheat my oven to 300 degrees, because they think that's cool. And I'm like, but that means there's an API. And if there's an API, an application programmer interface, then if there's a bug and I can hack that and I can turn your oven on or something like that, I'll burn your house down. We've already had some calls from fire departments around in Australia. They go, did it do it? And I'm like, okay, let's go through the things, because at the moment it's unlikely. Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. There has been one pretty bad incident in the US so far, where someone's house was hacked and they turned the temperature down to nearly 0 in the nursery. Yes. That was actually about 2 years ago.
How did they track that? So you can actually get investigators to come in and check that?
Yeah, there's no
aircon was hacked?
No,
okay. There's
no one. We've talked to all the law enforcement, people like the KPMGs and Deloitte that have their cybersecurity teams and everything like that. And I go, let's talk about IoT hacking and everything like that. And they're like, they have no idea. No one has any major skills in that area yet. There is no cybersecurity degree in Australia that specialises in understanding IoT. It's one of my great worries. So all I think I do is counter-terrorism and try to figure out critical infrastructure and what could happen. One of the examples I use a lot is like just a little humidity sensor, like on a farm. Imagine if you just hacked those in a farm. It was a really hot day, but you hacked them so they didn't come on. And all the crops just burned. There is good tech out there. The fact that there is great tech will encourage a lot of people to go buy tech. But how many people go and buy the cheaper versions of things? Our biggest problem at the moment is not these small disasters. The biggest problem is if these small disasters all happen at the same time. Saudi gave her citizenship.
Right.
Everyone went, oh wow, first robot to get given citizenship. Now the question that I go down to play is, what is a citizen? What of her is a citizen? Hardware? Software? What if I beat her up but they can restore her from backup? Weird questions. Anyone can give citizenship to whatever they want to a pet rock. But what's that really mean?
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this episode in a series where we interview business leaders, tech innovators, and startup founders about their business journey, insights, and reflections. If you find value in this, please leave us a comment below, and also like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Enjoy!